Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. I've been talking about manhood development for over 20 years. Over 20 years. And I was thinking about that because, you know, lately in the mainstream media, there's a lot of talk about the issues that men are going through. Articles, interviews on news shows, everything going on with men and the development of men, and, you know, concerns that so many men are dropping out of the workforce, dropping out of dating, which is actually connected, honestly connected. Because let me get into that for a second. And it really is based on something I've talked about in my books, Nice Guys and Players Starting Out. Remember, it was published in 2000, and actually it's really a second version of a book that I started publishing in 1997. There was a pamphlet at first, but all of the, all the versions, including the one that really put me over the top, was always about manhood development. Masculine development. Indeed, that was the original title. But, you know, Nice Guys and Players is a lot more catchier than masculine development, or saying something about masculine self-development, whatever. You know, a lot more catchy. Yeah, got a market still, no matter what you're talking about. But, you know, I've always approached that issue. And really the thing in the books that I talked about was one of the main things, which is an issue, and of course I provided solutions for it, but the whole thing with the female selection criteria, the whole thing. And, you know, I talk about select and non-select. Now, other people call it alpha, beta, 80-20, 95-5, whatever. But obviously, some men are, you know, able to do well with women, some aren't. The ones who aren't, they don't have any motivation to work. Because one of the things is what? Men are supposed to be providers and everything. Provide for what? Provide for what? You know? They're not connected to the community. So they're going to drop out. Okay? So that's a big part of it right there. But my solution to all the issues, which I saw back, I and some other writers and commentators actually saw back in the 90s, is, okay, become better men, become better versions, become select, become a part of the 20% now, or become alpha. Now, of course, we have some people talking about it now, and you know, different versions and everything, but I've been talking about it for over 20 years because I saw the issues then. Some other people saw the issues back then. It wasn't as prominent as it is now. But I've been talking about it because anybody who, and no, this ain't just to toot my own horn, but just to say, hey, I have a solution here. I've seen results. But I've seen, you know, my solution, of course, was, hey, become select. You know, become select, do better, do it for really more for yourself, but let's be real, men want women. And also just to live in life. That's why I'm talking about the sovereign man thing. But here's the thing with it though. Here's the thing I'm seeing, the problem I'm seeing. You have people now talking about it, but you know what? They focusing on the wrong things. Like they want to focus on what they call toxic masculinity and all of this stuff. And which I was like, please. Because let me say something about that. It's amazing how a man can be called toxic until 3 a.m. and there's a noise downstairs. Or if a woman's being harassed or something like that, they looking at the other men like they supposed to defend her. I'm like, you know. And that's a whole other conversation about how that term is thrown around. But what did I say in my books? Development. Because a big issue is men aren't thrown out, just basically thrown out here. We don't have rites of passage overall in culture. You have some small religious groups that might have some rites of passage for young men to train them in how to actually be men, but we don't really have that anymore. We don't have that. And ultimately what I'm doing in my book is saying that. Anybody who's read my books say, no matter what categories I'll talk about, I'm saying your goal is to be that real man, just to be that man, to stand up, to be the best version of yourself, you know? I mean, the solutions are there. But see, I'm gonna tell you what though, a lot of people, even some people who, you know, go in the mainstream media and everything, they're not really looking. They're not really addressing it. You know, but that's part of the thing they get in the cells. Oh, what's wrong with these guys? What's wrong with these guys? And, you know, saying some cliche stuff. It's like, they need to be developed. You know, we need to have programs that's saying, hey, you know, this is what we can do. We can help the men on multiple levels, you know? And really, I'm gonna tell you what, and this even goes beyond my book, a logical thing to do. You know, a logical thing to do, you know, man, we're thinking logically. If some of these commentators and their ilk think, well, what can we do? It's like, well, why don't y'all first find the men out here who are actually doing something. Find the teachers, find the mentors, find the coaches. There's plenty of programs out here that they actually working on building men. You have men's wellness groups. You have, you know, addressing what they have to do. You have training programs. Why not highlight them? Why not highlight them? Now, yeah, it'd be great if they're looking at my book, but mine is just one out of many things that's actually providing solutions. And that's always been the case. Like I said, you got some small religious groups, spiritual groups, they have rites of passage, you know? They will actually have rites of passage. Like you have some groups that follow African traditional religion. They have rites of passage, you know? You have maybe somebody in the community who might volunteer and just deal with the young men and show them some stuff. At my local gym, there's a guy who comes in there and he has like about 4 or 5 young men with him all the time, and they're just training as a group. They are just training as a group. He's directing them and everything. It's out there, you know? It's out there. But see, I'm gonna tell you what though, a major issue is, what I had alluded to earlier, is a lot of people making money off the negative side of it. And not just some guys like who like doing some YouTube videos and saying, yeah, do this and that, which some people don't like. But I mean, you know, you got the people complaining about it, sitting on the panels, going on the news shows. And they're not really saying anything. You look at their solutions or they'll throw out some trite or something like that. But shoot, like what I'm saying, doing, like when I'm talking about body game, and I'm gonna get more into body game in the next episode. But when we talk about, well, the next couch episode, when you talk about body game, that's more than just, that is really more than just looking good, aesthetic and everything. It's more about the discipline it gives. Like you have a lot of sports coaches, when they train in their young men in different ball games and everything, they're not just getting trained just to play ball, but they actually developing some discipline. This is very important. And really, from my point of view, when you have not as many young men engaging in sports, that could be another problem. And it's not about being a pro player or anything. That's 1 out of 10,000 anyway. But it's more about the discipline you develop with it. Like I know for myself, when playing sports when I was younger, before I even got to high school, I was team captain. I was playing on a soccer club and I was the team captain. That gave me a certain amount of leadership skills and everything. So, but we've provided the solution. Myself, other people have actually been providing solutions. Maybe it's time to start looking at them. Maybe it's time to start looking at them. I'd love to go on one of those like mainstream TV shows, news programs, and present that. Exactly that. And that's what I do on this channel anyway. That's the main thing, is masculine development. Now, I'll use the term game and all of that. It gets your attention, but just like in my book, Nice Guys and Players, that gets your attention, but you start reading, it's like, oh, wait, this is all about development. Like I said, better title. So anyway, I want y'all to really think about that, and really just overall, and whoever, you know, is watching this, whatever you do for like development, are you a coach, mentor, teacher, something like that? You have a business, maybe you have some apprentices. Yeah, shout yourself out. Shout yourself out. Because the solution's already there. It's just a matter of who wants to actually use them and promote them. So anyway, though, that's all I have for now. And I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.